There were a bunch of things that we could say in the 80s, but we just can't say them now. Or do you still say them now? I still say some of them now. I can't help it.
Geeky Classic Rock.
Hey guys, my name is Kiki, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. What I like to do is talk about anything and everything classic rock and pop too. I love me some pop culture, some pops in the house. And if you guys like going back, I mean all the way back, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below, as well as the like button, and of course, cannot leave out the little notification ding dong bell, because all of those things collectively help me out. If you're coming on back to my channel, hi! Thank you so much for coming back and sticking with me and supporting me. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you like it here. I really do, because the Kiki Classic Rock family community is just one of the best around. And no matter who you are, new, not new, I appreciate all of you. In the 80s, all of us dressed really colorfully. Our hair was in a ponytail on the top of our head off to the side, or guys were dressed in super tight pants, which wasn't really a bad thing for us girls. No matter what you did or how you dressed, it was just who we were and what we were all about. There were also a lot of things that we used to say back in the 80s that we just don't say now. Maybe some of you still take some of those 80s words and phrases and use them today, but most of them, we can't do that. And if our kids heard us saying some of these things, they'd probably have us locked up. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that we used to say back in the day, back in the 80s, that we just really, we can't say a lot of these things today. Bodacious. Now the definition itself has a few adjectives intertwined in it. Noteworthy, sexy, remarkable, and voluptuous. Who was considered bodacious back in the 80s? We're going to take the sexy part of that word and try to figure it out. Heather Locklear, she totally rocked the 80s because she was just that hot. She was in Chips, she was in 8's Enough, she was on the Love Boat, and in the early 90s, oh my gosh, let's not forget about Heather Locklear in Melrose Place. She was just awesome. Then of course we had Molly Ringwald, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and of course, The Breakfast Club. Molly, of course, was a great actress, and I think it was not only the fact that she was a great actress and captivated all of us, but that red hair of hers, it just got us. Julia Roberts, I gotta tell you, the second I saw her appear on screen in Mystic Pizza, I knew, I just had this innate feeling that this girl was gonna take off, and she more than took off. She skyrocketed off. So yeah, all three of these ladies were totally bodacious. Now, we don't really use that word anymore. I don't really hear anyone using that word anymore, but could it still be relevant today? Yeah, I think it could. So let's just go ahead and bring back bodacious. You are bodacious. Crazy 80 bodacious kids you are. Tubular. Yes, tubular, or otherwise known as totally tubular, was really a surfer term that meant totally awesome or totally tubular. Whatever you want to say. Just tubular, maybe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those guys, they just always used totally tubular. That's totally tubular, dudette. I sound nothing like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and that's probably a good thing. Moon Unit Zappa, yes, thank you. Remember her? She used it in her song Valley Girl, and Moon was so persistent that she got her local radio station, K-Rock FM, to play her song Valley Girl. The really cool thing about the song Valley Girl was that Moon got to work with her dad, Frank Zappa, and what Frank did, of course, he put the song together and he had Moon recreate conversations that she had with her girlfriends at that time, and the song Valley Girl was born. Would we or could we say the word tubular now? No, I don't feel that tubular is really relevant to today. I mean, you can say it. Will anyone know what you're talking about? Probably not, unless you're talking to a kid from the 80s or an adult that was a kid in the 80s, but tubular today, nah, Gnarly. You know, gnarly is still really a good usable word today. And gnarly means nasty and unpleasant, but back in the 80s, it had two different meanings. It meant something really, really good, or it meant something really, really bad. Go figure. I just want to know who came up with all this stuff, for sure. A lot of times, gnarly was referred to as something that went really far past the extreme, like, man, how Eddie Van Halen shredded on that stage was totally gnarly. But if you go to the other end of the spectrum and you looked at how gnarly meant awesome, it would be equivalent to today's version of what is hot. How about Sean Penn as Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? I think that everything that cannot be said today was literally said in that and throughout that entire movie, I swear. Fast Times at Ridgemont High came out in 1982 and is actually in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress for being culturally significant. But if you were to pull out any pieces of this film and speak them to someone today, you would be classified as being politically incorrect and would probably get slapped in the face. I'm just saying. And guys, to me, that's what was great about the 80s. You didn't really have to worry too much about what you said. You just said it. And I think gnarly is still really a doable term today. I think gnarly can be used right now. I mean, in the Jeff Spicoli sense of gnarly, probably not. But you know what? I think we need some more Jeff Spicoli today. Bring me some Hello, can I have some Jeff Spicoli, please? Eat my shorts. This was not only a big saying for Bart Simpson, but this was also a huge saying for everyone in the 80s. Some of you may be saying to yourselves, well, yeah, I said eat my shorts, but we're not talking shorts as in short pants or joggers or anything like that. We're talking about underwear here. Eat my underwear. I know for some of you that could really be a bad visual, but as Molly Ringwald, we just talked about her, played the real uptight, classy teen in The Breakfast Club, we all had that in our high school, right? I had a girl. She wore pearls every single day. I am not kidding. She's in jail now, but we all had that girl. And that is the one girl we just wanted to go up to and say, eat my shorts. And speaking about The Breakfast Club, if you remember Judd Nelson, he played that super cute bad boy Bender, who Molly Ringwald's character ended up making out with in the library. I mean, didn't we all want a bad boy at some point? You know you did. Don't say you didn't. Getting back to Bender, actor Paul Gleason, he's the guy who played Richard Vernon. He was the Saturday detention teacher. Who the heck had detention on a Saturday? I know in my school, detention was after school. So that meant if you were going to be in detention, you missed your bus, and that was the end of that. But Saturdays, that was rough. Why am I bringing that up? Because that is the point in The Breakfast Club when Bender, under his breath, said to Teacher Vernon, eat my shorts. And then Richard Vernon said to him, what did you say? And then Bender goes, eat my shorts. Just like he did the whole head thing and everything like that. And literally, Richard Vernon gave Bender detention for the next, 50 years. Don't say eat my shorts to your teacher. Don't do that. So can we say eat my shorts today? No, because today someone might literally try to eat your shorts. Ew. Have a cow, or don't have a cow. This was yet another Bart Simpson saying, but it actually originated in the 1950s. I just can't think of Ward Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver saying don't have a cow, but then again, in my twisted mind, I probably thought of Ward Cleaver saying things that he really wouldn't say because that's just what I did. Thought about weird things like that. So you probably guessed by this point that don't have a cow means calm down, chillax, be cool, keep it real. I mean, as a female, giving birth to a cow would hurt. So really, it was all about the visual when someone said this. The facts of life. Let's go there. there. I loved that show. Mrs. Garrett, she was just so calm. When she got mad, it was kind of funny. Tootie, Blair, Joe, Natalie. For sure, someone on that show said, don't have a cow. My guess, it would be either Natalie or Tootie that would say, don't have a cow. Couldn't find exactly where it was said on that show, but for sure, someone said it. If you know who said it, put it in the comments down below. Thanks. Can you say, don't have a cow today? No, there's that whole vegetarian movement going on, so I honestly wouldn't, I wouldn't come out to someone and say, don't have a cow. No. Take a chill pill. Just like the saying, don't have a cow, they're one and the same. They mean the same thing. Relax. Relax a minute. Calm down. It looks like I'm petting something right now. I have to say, take a chill pill. That was one of my favorite things to say. I don't know why. It just felt good to say it. Originally, now I just didn't know this, just found it out, but the term take a chill pill became popular in the 80s because this is also the time when ADHD became recognized as a diagnosis, even though ADHD was first talked about in 1902. Talking about the movie Valley Girl again, we already talked about Moon and Frank Zappa. Nicolas Cage was in that movie. A young and fresh Nicolas Cage. I've just tried watching that movie again. I just can't get through it. I just can't. But the movie Valley Girl has literally every single 80s term that I'm talking about and even more. So if you want to brush up on your 80s sayings, just go and watch the movie Valley Girl. It's all right there for you. So today, could you say to someone, take a chill pill? No, because you'll be looked at as a totally insensitive human being. Don't tell anyone to take a chill pill. Totally bitchin'. This is really a two-part phrase because it contains two words that I particularly used all of the time in the 80s, totally and bitchin'. Totally by itself was used a lot, like that's totally cool or that's just totally fun, and bitchin' by itself was used a lot, but you wouldn't want someone to say that you were bitchin'. I mean, they could say, oh, you're bitchin', meaning that you're cool, but if someone says to you, you're bitchin', that means you're whining, and you don't want that kind of bitchin'. You want the other kind of bitchin'. And of course, in the 80s, bitchin' was just good all the way around. I have no idea where or when totally bitchin' translated from good to bad or bad to good, but to say it today, probably not gonna fly. Duh or no duh. The meaning of duh is to look at someone's comment or action as either foolish or stupid, or simply just obvious. Duh. The word duh goes all the way back to a Merry Melodies cartoon back in the 1940s, and then it comes up again in 1964 in a New York Times Magazine article that said, duh is the standard retort used when someone makes a controversial contribution bordering on the banal. I did. I had to Google the word banal, banal, and it does mean obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me. Some things that we would potentially say duh to. Steve Perry is awesome. Duh. Tom Kiefer is my Tommy. Duh. Bret Michaels is totally hot. Duh. Double duh. There are tons and tons of 80s movies that used the word duh, but a TV show actually comes to mind when I think of who said duh a lot, and it was Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. The Olsen twins, they both played Michelle Tanner on the TV show Full House, and they said duh a lot. So while it was okay for kids on a TV show in the 80s to say duh, it's just not okay for anyone to say duh today. The last two I got for you, Grody to the max and gag me with a spoon, are two of the ones that I probably heard referenced the most. Both of these sayings pretty much mean the same thing, that the person you're referring to is really disgusting and you just cannot stand them. So let's face it, a lot of these sayings that I just talked about were used all of the time in the 80s, and we took them all and made them our own. That sandwich is Grody to the max. Those socks gag me with a spoon. Who is saying this stuff anymore? Probably no one, but you know what? It was fun while it all lasted. It just was. What is your favorite saying from the 80s that you used to say and you just don't say anymore? Let us know in the comments down below. It's totally awesome going back to the 80s and just going back and reminiscing. It's just fun. So keep it all moving and grooving and watch one of these two videos coming up next. And don't forget, guys, to always keep rocking.